Alright. Alright guys, if you remember from last video, I replaced a wheel that had fallen off of my car from yet another video that I showed of a test of my first-person view camera that I had, in which the wheel fell off during a run while I was doing a donut at the top of the cul-de-sac, which was pretty sad, but I replaced that now. And if you also remember, I showed you, if you stuck around for the ending, I showed you the one gear that I had completely stripped due to not checking my engine mount screws before a run. It wiggled a little loose, and the result was a stripped out gear. Now, however, you can see that there are nice two pristine gears in there. And I'll give you a comparison. Here's the gear, the other second speed gear that I took out of the car. Come on, autofocus, work with me, work with me. Alright. And you can kind of see how there's a little bit of the teeth left, but see that white part right there? It's just a smooth circle. I actually went ahead and bought 4 of these gears, only in case I made that stupid mistake again. So you can see here's one. It comes with a little pin too. That's actually where the clutch grabs it. So instead of grabbing the plastic knob, which is right there, you can't see it too well here. So when it grabs that little plastic knob, you can see it's got the pin already installed in there. Because that's there so that when this gear's spinning around like this, and the clutch, the centrifugal clutch, all of a sudden pops that little lever out and grabs it, it hits that metal pin instead of hitting the plastic notch, which I'm pretty sure would just take it clean off the gear. But here's the old crappy gear. Sorry I skipped the whole mess that was taking the entire car apart to get to the front and rear drive shaft. Yeah, and you can't quite see the front one. Darn it, it's kind of annoying. Let's see if that doesn't help. Oh, there you go, see that little glimmering rod down there. There you go, that little black rod. Down right about center screen there. Right there is your front drive shaft. And then here's the rear one. The rear one is much easier to get to, as you can see, because all you have to do is take out the radio box, and then you have 100% access to that. And you can also see when I roll the car back and forth here, everything moves beautifully. I don't have much space in my toolbox. You can see everything rolls beautifully. Brakes work. You can't see the servo because the radio box is taken out. There's the radio box with the throttle servo. But anyway, maybe now we'll just have a bit of a rebuild montage. I don't think it'll be a montage because, as you can tell, I don't edit too much. I usually do what I do in the rest of my life. I talk my way through things. Alright. So while I'm just rebuilding this here, I'm just going to talk my entire way through this, since I don't really feel like editing. So, here's our radio box. We're going to go ahead and put that back in. We're going to put the feed wires, our throttle servo, and our steering servo back up and through the box. Pull them through so that they don't interfere with anything, because I don't know if you know this or not, but wires getting caught in moving things like gears and the clutch bell doesn't go, they don't go over too well. Really, they don't. The wires get shredded and chewed. I've not had a case of that, thank goodness. It's about the only mistake I haven't made. So I haven't had an example of that problem, but for many accounts of it. So there we go. Our radio box is sitting in there all pretty. I'm going to grab my screwdriver here. Alright, grab the screws that hold the, oops, sorry, I bumped my little camera stand here. There we go. Alright, we're going to just take the undermount screws. We're going to go ahead and screw this back on. If I felt like editing, this would be about where we'd fast forward so that we could get through these screws in record time. I've got fast hands, you know. The double ratcheting screwdriver helps. It really doesn't take too long. You guys can sit through this, and if not, I'll probably put a timestamp somewhere like right here that says skip screws or whatever. Although, once again, I might not. I might make you suffer. Just because I'm cool like that. So we're just going to try and double ratchet our way as fast as we can through this. Great screwdriver, by the way, the Kodal double ratcheting screwdriver. It's really nice for setting screws into plastic because the double ratchet does kind of take down your overall torque, but you really don't want too much torque going into a plastic, into a plastic thread base, because that'll just do bad things too. That'll just tear it up. Let's see, I'm missing a screw here. Yeah, I'm gonna move this. See, I have you guys sitting on the drawer that I put these little screws in. See, there's 1, 2. Yeah, the third one's around here somewhere. Probably dropped it in one of these little drawers here. Anyway, you can see we've got our motor box, our radio box back sitting right next to the motor. Oh, here we go. These two little screws go in the back here. So I'm going to try to at least make this entertaining by keeping a nice little audio track of me talking. I know. Who wants to hear it? But, just live with it. Again, I'll probably put a little annotation that says, skip past all my excessive blabbing. Because honestly, some people don't like to listen to it. In fact, a lot of my family members tell me, they say, how long do you just keep talking? I'm like, well, gee, I don't know, it might be that it's just a little video helping people to put their cars back together. Especially if you're stupid like me and make a lot of silly mistakes. And I'm fairly new to this. I mean, I did my homework, but this is my first car. Back where I used to live, a guy had a buggy that he would drive around. We had this little, they were these dirt mounds back where I used to live, and he would jump them off of there and race it around the dirt, and he'd kick up a lot of dust, and I can't remember if it was a single speed or a 2-speed. That was a good 8 years ago or more, possibly, because I was not very old remembering watching him drive that little buggy around. Right now then, I'm going to go ahead and slap our battery pack in here, like so. Grab our 2.4 gigahertz receiver with, there I go, butterfingers again, with included failsafe. Alright, we're going to go ahead and plug this in to the VCC channel, then the steering servo into channel 1, and then the throttle servo into channel 2. Pretty sure that's how it goes. I can honestly never remember these things, or if I even put the plugs in the right way. Again, that's how stupid I am. Didn't put the power pack plug in the right way. There we go. Which does mean one thing. I think that pretty much means I put the rest of them in right. Alright, let's see what we got here. Because I don't have my throttle servo crap set up yet. Alright, I got no steering. I put that one in wrong. Can you say duh? Alright. Just go and slap. There we go, I heard it engage that time. Alright. Right is right, left is left. We got throttle and brake. I'll go ahead and throw off the receiver now just to save battery power. And while that's working, we'll feed all of our wonderful little wires back into this box. I love how servos come with 5-foot long leads when it's about 2 inches away from the radio box itself. Each servo is actually, the one's even mounted onto the radio box itself. The other one is about half an inch away from it. Alright, enough blabbing. Let's get this done. Now we're going to get our radio box cover. Go ahead and feed the antenna up through the antenna mast before we do this. Make sure it comes peeking out. There we go. And then make sure we have no wires getting pinched other than my wonderfully redirected on-off switch, which of course the wires are going to feed out from the box, because they don't fit in there at the AA's. It's a nuisance, really. It makes the car look a little more junky, because the on-off switch isn't, where it should be in that nice little cutout hole for it, where it would kind of make the car look complete. But at the same time, it doesn't hurt the function of the car. So I don't mind it too terribly much. It's just a little bit of a nuisance. Interestingly enough, and correct me if I'm wrong, if there's another Lightning owner out there. First of all, I have problems finding people who actually own these little cars. The buggies and truckies seem to be much more popular. But I just went with the on-road car because they're a little easier to maintain. Get as dusty and dirty and grimy. And your suspension tends to break a lot less because you're not going over jumps. I would say I'd have fun with the jumps, but being kind of new to this, I wanted to take it easy with the maintenance and possible issues. So I went with an on-road car. Now we're going to take our brake rod and feed it through there. Our throttle rod and feed it right on through there. And you can see I put some nice little Sharpie marks on the. Oh, hold on. Let's get you a nice little close. Autofocus isn't going to do this justice, but there we go. See the? Oh, come on, work with me. Oh well, you saw them there for a minute. The little red Sharpie marks. I have 2 of red Sharpie marks, and that was so I could line up the servo horn with the. It clamps on because it's it's meant for all generic servo uses, so it's clamped on there. Really, oh crap! Didn't screw on tight enough. Now we've got now it wiggled its way out of place. Now we're gonna line up our little bars again. Got one more placement forward. All right, that's good. Let's put our double ratcheting screwdriver back on here again, because it fits the hole a little bit more. Much better. Hopefully that won't move. I don't want to over tighten it because it seems that the servo horns in particular seem to strip out really easy if you just over tighten them a little bit too much, which is kind of obnoxious, really. But an easy way around that, just don't tighten it too much. As you can tell, I actually already stripped it. Again, stupid mistake, and that's why there's that big old shiny machine screw on there, because it was a little bit wider of a diameter than the one that actually came with the servo itself, because I stripped it. But it was an easy fix, and I just found a screw easily in my tool chest. So that went really well. Again, if I felt like editing, I'd fast forward through this, but I'll just make you all suffer. Listen to my blabbing. Alright, make sure we get full throttle. There we go, full throttle, and brakes. Actually, let's see, here it easily rolls. Oh, we're not easily rolling anymore, that's locking up. Alright. So maybe you don't want your brakes to lock up, but I like it because you can always, let's see, we still got, alright, always messing with the transmission, you want to make sure that your gear mesh is beautiful. As a matter of fact, I don't think I've ever had it that nice. Alright, sweet. There's very little move, but as you can see here, it still spins freely without any grind noise. See that? It spins nice and freely. That's exactly what you want, with no grinding noise or stiffness. And you can just hear a nice little ticket, 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 ticket. If you start to hear a clack, 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 a clack, 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 clack when you wiggle it like that, you've got too loose of gear mesh, and that's your gear teeth. They're not quite meeting. Like when you have good gear mesh, say my fingers here are gears, when you have good gear mesh, they just about fit together perfectly. There's a little bit of room. When it's too loose, you got a lot of room like this, so as you wiggle it back and forth, you hear a clack, 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 clack instead of click, 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 click. Alrighty, so then that's good. And now, that just about wraps it up for this repair video. I'm just going to check my servos one last time. We got throttle, brakes, left and right. So we're just going to go ahead and close this one up, and it's dark out right now. As you can probably tell, I've got the lights on. So I'll get up my first-person camera tomorrow, and hopefully it'll be a much longer run than 2 minutes and 45 seconds or something like that. So until then, I'll just turn off the camera.